Hey, hi. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use OpenAI chatbot called ChatGPT for AWS and Azure cloud development purpose. As you see in this PPT depicts my demo. Here, my aim is, to help you with two concepts here. One is, I will just give an overview like about and what is the, OpenAI ChatGPT chatbot, and also I'm going to help you with, how we can use the capability of ChatGPT chatbot to achieve the the cloud development job or cloud solutioning job, for example, say. Yeah, so basically these are the two topics that I'm going to quickly cover up in this video, right? So with that note, let's directly jump to the the first part, that is just layman term. What is the just let's understand what is actually I know the chat gpt is all about. Okay, so the overview that I'm going to give here is just a layman term. Yeah, so basically here this is, as I said, this is a chatbot actually, which is a very intelligent, highly flexible, and very knowledgeable chatbot actually. um, and the the this chatbot is being developed by OpenAI, right? And ChatGPT stands for a chatbot with a generative pre-trained transformer. That's what the ChatGPT stands for. So as it says, a generative pre-trained transform, in the sense, this is a chatbot which is fed with the huge load of data, and it is being trained to consume that data and give the answers to the questions being answered, questions being asked in the chat, that is during the chatbot conversations. Okay, so that is what this chatbot is does. Okay, as I said, this is very intelligent, very knowledgeable, and the response it gives is equivalent to an expert, right? And it is like a mimicking to a human expert. Okay, and that's the reason there are lot many anxieties, lot many insecurities that is being generated and across the IT industries workers. Yeah, and indeed it is, it is a natural, because we tend to feel insecure because of such a capability, right? All right, so that's basically, that's just a overview about what is ChatGPT is all about. Now let's come to the second part. So in this, which is a core part of this demo. So here I'm going to walk you through, like, how we can use the capability of ChatGPT at cloud development work. Okay, so here I'm going to show you how we can use the ChatGPT extension for VS Code and try to easify our cloud development work or cloud solutioning work. Okay, so here I'm going to show you two three scenarios for AWS cloud and two three scenarios for Azure cloud as well, right? All right, so basically, as I explained, so what we're going to see is, first one, we're going to see, like, how we can configure the chat gpt extension on VS Code, and then how does that can be leveraged to easify our job, or how that can be leveraged to help our AWS development work, right? And then similarly for Azure cloud as well, similarly how that a chat gpt chatbot can help us to achieve our cloud development work. Okay, so basically these are the the two scenarios that I'm going to cover up, and also I'm going to give a few more tips around, like, how the chatbot can also, this chat gpt chatbot can also help us to easify our work. Okay, so basically before I walk you through the the scenarios, let me give a hints. Okay, so earlier days, before this chat gpt came in picture, what we used to do when we have a cloud development work. Okay, so when I say developer, even though how the developer is high, how how much he's intelligent, or how capable he is, he cannot have all those the knowledge in his brain, and he cannot do in one shot. Okay, there are possibilities, but where are unique cases. Okay, I'm not denying on the there are no such cases, but indeed, but at the maximum cases, the developers will tend to search in the internet, find out the source of piece of code, connect those piece of code, and or stitch those piece of code and make the the code working, or make the code to give us a required response, or make the code to do a required job. Okay, that's what developer does. Not only cloud developers, even web application developer, even even other kind of developers. Okay, any other developers, basically that's what we generally tend to do, right? So here, how does the scenario changes when the chat gpt is came into market. Okay, so basically, as I said, the chat gpt is been fed with very huge data. I have read somewhere like 757 billion, I don't know, somewhere okay, something like very 757 petabyte, something like very huge data has been used to train this chatbot, or generally called as a open AI model. this chatbot can be considered as an open AI module. Okay, so basically it consuming that module, and and also catering the chatbot capabilities. Okay, by consuming that module capability, it is actually helping us to answer the questions being asked in the chat. Okay. Okay, so that's the reason, this is very highly accurate. That's the second note that I'm going to give you here. Okay. Right. So as I was talking about, like we used to go here and there, collect the data and stitch it, right? So, but how does it change this? Is since this Chat GPT chatbot is such a knowledgeable, and it has the complete set of knowledge, then then our source and our the source of information becomes a single pane here now. That's what I see, in the sense you just need to log in your chat gpt account and start the conversation, and you gonna get the all the answers that is needed to perform at your cloud development job, or at your cloud architecting job, or at your cloud sme job, or let's say troubleshooting time. Yeah, even cloud troubleshooting time. Okay, so basically I see that I see this is as a positive side of the the chat gpt, right? So basically here the the topic here is how it can help the cloud developers. Okay, so that's what we're going to see in here now. So how how we need to now the question is how the single pane or a single search pane can be obtained in the VS Code. Okay, so here when I say developer, in the sense we generally use the IDE tools. Okay, so basically the famous one is is Microsoft Visual Studio Code. And okay, so which is an IDE tool, which generally AWS Cloud or the Azure Cloud developers also use that for development purpose. Okay, now we see how we can integrate this ChatGPT extension and try to get the capabilities of ChatGPT and just do your job, that is cloud developer job, with a easy way, right? So that's how I mean. So basically this is what the information about the about this ChatGPT in this PPT. Now let me take you to my VS Code. Okay, so this is my VS Code. I'm just opening a VS Code for this demo purpose, and I will take you back to the my AWS account. This is my AWS account for your information. I'm going to give you some glimpse of some of the development development work, all right, and how the chatbot can help us. Okay, that's the aim of here. So here the requirement here is you need to have your VS Code get installed with the an extension called ChatGPT Copilot. Okay, so I have installed this extension as you see in this in my screen, right? So this this extension has a multiple capabilities that it can help you to improve your code, add the test, find the bugs. It can do these capabilities, but for now I'm just going to focus more on how does it helps you to develop a code or speed up developing a solution basically, right? So you need to install this extension on your VS Code, and then you need to do one more step, that is go to the settings, then go to the settings again, and then here in the search settings, so you need to search like chat gpt colon chromium chromium path, say chromium, so chromium path, right? So once you search this one, so there is an option will come here. So here there is a there is a message been the message will appear here, that is you can find the executable path for your preferred browser by going to the URL, that is a Chrome version or Edge version. Okay, so since I'm using since I have experimented with the Edge one and it is a Windows, so I'm just going to help you with the Edge versions. You can also do with the Chrome version, no problems. So for now what you do is you're going to open the Microsoft Edge application here, and then then what you do is you're going to click on the this one, that is this search this one or browse this edge colon forward slash version, and there is a key value called executable path, and the value is this one. So copy this one. Yeah, copy this complete path, that is the Microsoft Edge .exe path, right? So you just need to copy this one only. So so just this C path. Okay, that is this much. Yeah, I'm just select it very slowly. So copy till .exe like this. Yeah, copy this and then go to the VS Code and replace it. This is the value that you need to keep it. Okay, once this is done, that is the that is the basically the settings that you do, right? And then after that what you do is you're gonna go to your code. For example, say I'm just writing Python Boto 3 based module, Python Boto 3 module based on automation or a solution, right, at AWS. So how does this Copilot, how does this ChatGPT Copilot extension will help us? Okay, basically basically ChatGPT, how does the ChatGPT tool helps us? Okay, that's what I'm going to show you here. So what you do is, once you configure, what you can do is, you need to run a command in the search here. So there is a, so how does you search is, basically here, right? So there's a, you says, Python hacks search. Okay, so click on this one, that is a repo search. In this one, use the, greater than mark, and then select chat gpt ask anything. Okay, as you see in the screen, that is chat gpt colon ask anything. Click on this one, and then start asking your questions. For example, say, I will ask questions like, what is AWS S3 service. Okay, for example, say you just wanted to know what is AWS S3 service is all about. Okay, so what you do is you just write that question, which is nothing but, you have initiated a chat. Okay, because you are interacting with the chat, chat bot actually, right? So enter this one, right? So you will be asked. Okay, so automatically Edge browser will be opened, where you need to log in to your chat openai.com account. Yeah, so this account is mandatory for this demo, because, with using this account credentials only, the VS Code tries to interact with our chatbot, and, it tries to, communicate with the chatbot with using this account only, right? So for that case, what I'm doing is I'm just going to log in, because I have already have my account. If you don't have, you need to click on a sign up button, provide the email, password, your mobile number, right? And then you will be allowed to create a chat GPT account. You need to log in with the same account like I'm doing right now. So I'll just go here and just provide my email address, and then I'm going to provide my credentials, right? So so then I need to verify myself is not a not a robot. So I'm just going to select the robot questions here, click on verify. So I'm verified that I'm not a robot. Then click on continue. So here I'm going to give the my super secret credentials, right? And then click on continue. So basically, once you have provided the right credentials, so you will be popped up here, and automatically, right, the session gets started here. You see, the chat gpt colon ask me anything, right? So that has brought you here. Okay, you see, this is the chat gpt page option, and our question is, what is AWS S3 being searched by ChatGPT? In the sense, we have initiated a conversation with the ChatGPT while I'm doing my development. Okay, for example, say, I'm doing some development here, and I want to know, something which helps me, to speed up my work. Okay, so my job is, I'm a cloud developer. I want to know, I'm just stuck here. I have this doubt. I need to know this, how to do that. Okay, how, what, where, how, right? So all those questions can be asked here, and then, you need to stitch those answers being provided by the chat gpt and build your solution. Okay, so this is what the change is all about. Okay, earlier we used to roam around the, internet. Okay, when I say roam, in the sense, you used to go for one tab, another tab, go that site, go this site. Okay, right? And then try to grab the information, which are sometimes working, which are sometimes not working. I'm not saying that, ChatGPT all solutions will work. For sure, it may not be, but now you have a, you don't need to roam here and there, maybe, right? You just can get, maybe you can get all your answers from the a single chatbot session, that is a ChatGPT session, right? And here what I asked is, I have asked what is the, what is, because let's say I'm building a storage solution at cloud, for example, right? So in that case, I want to know which is the best service. I know that, S3 bucket is the best service. That's the reason I say, what is AWS S3 service? Then it says, the response. Okay, you see the response that is giving in English. Okay, so basically, the sentence that it creates is, that is how, that is that is the maturity of this AI model is all about. Okay, so basically, chat GPT is nothing but as an AI model which has been fed with a huge load of data, and it has been trained to give the response in a such a way that, it looks like exactly like a human answers. Okay, or more mature than the human answers. And that is how the intelligent this chat gpt is. So here it says, Amazon S3, that is a simple storage service, is an object storage service that offers an industry leading capability, scalability, sorry, and data availability, security, performance. This means that, you can store and retrieve the amount of data at any time from anywhere in the web, on the web, right? S3 is designed to provide 99 by 99 durability and, availability, right? So basically, this is just a query that you asked. Okay, say you are a solution architect. Okay, so you need to know what is the service. Okay, you can do that right away, right? Right. So that is the I say, this is how it will help you to build the, solution at, AWS. Now I'm going to ask the same question for Azure. Okay, so for example, say the same service in Azure is, storage account. So what is Azure storage account? If I say, So what is Azure storage account? So like earlier we used to search in the Google, right? So, or we used to search in any other browser. Okay, so that you can do right here in the ChatGPT, right? So what is what I say is, what is Azure storage account? If I type this one, so basically it takes its time. So what does this typing is basically, it is that model is running now. It is using the training, it is using the knowledge that it has gathered during the training. Okay, during the training of that particular model. In the sense, when I say training, in the sense that now model is being processed with using huge set of data, right? And when you process, it learns itself that yes, it need to respond in this way when there is a question in been asked in this way, right? And the answers that it is giving is a very very fluent and very English compliant and everything, right? And that's the astonishing thing here. Here you go. So if I can read this one, so the Azure storage is a Microsoft cloud storage solution that provides a range of services for storing, managing the data in the cloud. It is designed to be highly scalable and availability to store the and retrieve the any amount of data from anywhere in the web. Okay, so basically looks like that. Okay, so the Azure storage account is logically container for storing the accessing the data in the Azure. Okay, so basically this is how, this is clearly it tells. Okay, so basically you see that you can use the Azure storage account to store the wide range data types, like including the unstructured data like document, image, videos, structured data like table, queue. Okay, basically storage account provides us all these capability, right? That is blob storage, queue storage, right? Table storage, right? Four capabilities. So all those are being given as an answers to your questions. Okay, so this is how the this the service can help you to to get the help you to build a solution with using the chat gpt. Okay, for example, say you need to know the cost. Okay, the cost of Azure storage account in say North Europe, basically, right? So how do you do that? So you can ask this question here, and let's see what does it responds. Okay, so basically I'm just covering, like, how does it can help you to the help with the the cloud solution. So now I will go back to the developers perspective as well. Okay, let's say cost of Azure storage account in North Europe. So how does, let me see how does it responds. Okay, and one more thing, so whenever it is running, so parallelly it has opened a browser session that you see, this session has been consumed by that. Yeah, so don't forget that. So basically this is the, whenever you are working with the chat gpt from the VS Code, this session has to be always online, or else if you have closed it, maybe it will throw the error. Okay, because actually it is using that session's credentials and giving the answer here. That's what the difference is. So basically chat gpt, right? I just asked, cost of Azure storage account in the North Europe. Okay, so this is what the answer it has given. Okay, you can also compare these answers with the by going to the respective cloud provider. It should be the same. Yeah, right. So basically this is how it helps the the cloud solution architect, right? Similarly, now let's go for the developers. Okay, so now let me first one, let's say I'm an AWS developer. How does it helps me to achieve the to do my job, that is a cloud development. Okay, so when I say cloud development, I will just go for programmatic based cloud solution development. Okay, we have a other development, like infrastructure as a code development, that is using the Terraform, that also can be searched here, and you can gather that knowledge or gather that kind of information and use it at our work. It applies for Azure and AWS as well. Okay, so for now what I do is I'm just first try to test whether this chat gpt can help us to give me the basic, code for the basic job. Okay, for example, say I just wanted to see Python code. So let's say I'm just I'm a fan of Python. I want to build my cloud solutions or cloud development work with using Python. Okay, that's the reason I just always search in Python. For now, let's focus on Python. Okay, you can develop the the cloud environment with using Python in AWS and also Python in Azure as well. Okay, so for now let's say Python. Okay, so for example, say Python code to do the to do this, for example. So let me say I have a very vacant file. Now I just wanted to write something like how to do a bubble sort in the Python code. Okay, so what I do is Python code to do the bubble sort. Okay, so I'm just going to write this very layman question. Okay, that is Python code to do the bubble sort. Okay, if I click on this one, it will just retrieve us Python code which is meant to do the bubble sort. Yeah, basically. So why I'm asking this question is the developer, basically this is the question all developers, all developer interview will be asking. Okay, why do they ask is because this is one of the scenario which actually covers all the piece of the code that a developer has to know. That's the reason of the maximum interview questions and the maximum the conversation or maximum teaching happens on the bubble setting. Okay, basically that's, it has the logic, it has the, it has crosses, crosses all pieces of, the coding. That is the minimum knowledge that you need to have, right, about the code. This is what the scenario is actually covers all. Okay, so what it actually does is, the response is very intelligent. You see, bubble sort is a simple sorting algorithm that actually repeatedly iterates, iterates through the list of items and compiles the adjacent items and swap them if they are in the wrong order. Okay, so basically that's what it does. Now let's say I would just wanted to test it in my local. So what I do is, there is a button called this one, that is greater than symbol. I just click this one. In the sense, you are just copying this code and pasting it here directly. That is automated also. In the sense, that is a shortcut basically. So if you click on this one, or you can do a copy and paste it, but if you click and do this one, it is a speed up. It will, this piece of code will come here, right, and then you can test it. So basically, if I can walk you through this code, so I'm not going to walk you through this code because I think that you are all experts in bubble sorting coding, right? So here in the bubble sort, so you are passing the list, that is a list of the Python, and then this is a piece of code. Okay, you see it has a while loop, it has a for loop, it has a if loop. Okay, that's since it crosses the, all types of Python code or all types of any programming coding. Okay, so if you understand how does the bubble sorting works, basically, you are actually, you are crossing the one or two levels of coding basically, if you understand this correctly. That's the reason everybody will test you on this one. Now let's test whether the chatbot, ChatGPT has done a good job, okay, for us, right? So here I'm not saying that, this code is ready to consume always. Okay, it may not be ready to consume, but as a developer it is helping, as a developer it is helping you, and you need to have that kind of coding knowledge, that kind of coding grip, that you use it in a required format at your required job. Okay, so basically, the let's say, it actually has, it actually has two test cases has been written. It actually invoking this function with these input, and it will give us an output saying, like, in the sorted format. Okay, if I just run it, let me run it. Here you go, right? So it has sorted the 3 2 1 into in an ascending order, that is 1 2 3. Similarly, the other list has been sorted into the, ascending order. Okay, so basically this piece of code is working. Okay, so what does this scenario is, why did I show you this scenario? Basically, yes, the chat GPT is intelligent enough to give a piece of code which actually working, right? Now let's go over, the theory of my video, right? So here, how does it help the cloud developer? Okay, for example, say, I just wanted to list, all the S3 buckets present in my AWS account. Okay, so for that case, I need to write a Python boto 3 module, for example, say. So how we can do is, you can do it, basically, just go back to the, I don't have an S3 bucket, but I've just created for now. S3, I'll just go to the S3 bucket and I will just create a one dummy bucket for now. And then let's see, if does it list that. Yeah, so I'll just go to the buckets, and buckets, if I go to the buckets, do I have buckets? I have cleaned every bucket, so I'll just go to the bucket and then just say chat GPT bucket. Yeah, and I just keep this bucket as default and just create it. So it says in ChatGPT is already exists. See, people have already consumed it. Okay, but they're very fast actually. So I'm just going to give a ChatGPT 100. Yeah. So I'm just going to create this bucket. Yeah. Basically, it just creates a S3 bucket. Okay. Now let's say I'm a developer. I want to write a piece of code in Python Boto 3 module to list all the S3 buckets. So what I do is, I just say, Python. I will just say, AWS Python Boto 3 module code to list the S3 bucket. Yeah. So even though my question may not be right, the way of I'm asking it may not be right, but the chatbot is intelligent enough to understand the theme of the question and tries to give the relevant answer, which is almost right, right? Almost time it is right. So basically, that's the question I'm asking right now. Let's say, AWS. So I'm just, let's see, if that works. Okay, for that case, I don't need to, I need to remove this because we are already done. Now let's test the another response that is being given by this chat GPT, right? So what I do is, I'm going to go to this one chat GPT, and there is a button called this one. I just go here and just put it here. Okay, so if you see this piece of code, so let's say I'm a cloud AWS developer, right? That is AWS cloud developer. That is so here we are importing the Boto 3. My VS Code already has the Boto 3 pin installed, so it is showing green. Then we are creating, then it is creating a client called S3, and then what is, it is setting set the bucket name. So basically, just default, it just setting the bucket name. What we are doing is, we are just list the bucket name. So basically, what is the question I have asked is, you see, it is not accurate one. Okay, the answer may not. I said, but actually, it is giving you a skeleton. It is giving a template, which is, which earlier used to go to the multiple tabs, multiple sites, and get this piece of code, right? So instead of that, ChatGPT has made it easy. The life of a developer is now easy, right? You just use the VS Code. Don't roam here and in the internet and try to find the answer. Okay, that I see, that kind of positiveness out of the ChatGPT for now. Okay, so what I do is, so basically, what the question I have asked is, AWS Python board 3 model to list the S3 bucket. Okay, I just asked, but it's telling, it is listing a particular bucket, right? List the S3 bucket. I said the S3 bucket. That's the reason it has given this piece of code. Okay, if I say, Python Bodo 3 module, Python Bodo 3 module, Python Bodo 3 code to list all S3 bucket. Okay, S3 bucket. If I say this one, Python AWS Python, let me say, you need to use, okay, you need to use these keywords like AWS Python Boto 3 all S3 bucket. Okay, so these are the keyword which helps chatbot to give you the proper answers. Okay, the earlier question was wrong. Earlier question was not to the point. That's the reason it has say, when I say the bucket, in the sense, let's say it is predicting that you already have one bucket and you want to list that bucket. That's what it is doing actually, right? Basically, the answer was not appropriate, but actually, the piece of code that it is generating is helpful. That is the point that I'm going to make it here. Now it looks to be very simple. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this off and paste this code now. So basically, import boto 3. This is the boto 3 client. List all S3 bucket. Indeed, that is what the piece of code is. Now let's test it whether it is right one. To test it, what I do is I'm gonna just save it. Sorry, I just need to see this one. Control C and just save this piece of code. If I run this one, I have already the credentials are being set by using the AWS CLI, because my Visual Studio Code is already been run with the command like AWS configure, right? And I have already run this command. So if you are getting error, maybe you have not done this. Okay, so you need to do this, and then if you run your Python Boto 3 code, basically the Python Boto 3 uses these CLI credentials which is set on the environmental variables, and then uses those credentials and try to do the job that you have explained in this Python Boto 3 module, right? Or Python Boto 3 code actually, and henceforth it has returning the bucket name. Okay, so this is what I mean. Okay, this is just I'm scenario, trying to mimic the scenario, right? All right, so now let's go for the infrastructure as a code side. Okay, does it, so I will say Terraform code to create an S3 bucket. Yeah, create a S3 bucket. Let's say I will just give very very blunt questions. Okay, say a Terraform code to create a S3 bucket. I'm just searching very blunt questions. So what it does is it will just it will just use this knowledge and get the information saying like, this is a piece of code in Terraform, which can help you to build the S3 bucket. Okay, so let's see, what does it gives. Okay, so that is very curious now. So let's wait for its response. So it looks like it has already done its job. Okay, so I will just clean this off because we are done with the first part. Then this is how. Okay, so basically you see, it is explaining you that you need to do this and that. Yeah, so for example, say to create S3 bucket, yes, indeed, this is just a basic piece of code, that is needed to create a S3 bucket. Okay, that's the reason it has shown you. So basically what I mean to say is, it is supporting you, solution automation solution development perspective. It is supporting you with using the infrastructure as a code way as well. Now it also supports you, to get the answers. For example, say, say let's say you want to build a pipeline. You want to build a GitHub action file, GitHub action pipeline definition to release the AWS. Okay, for example, say GitHub action to deploy to deploy um, to run AWS Python board 3 module. I'm just asking very difficult questions basically. GitHub actions to run AWS Python boto 3 boto 3 boto 3 code. Yeah, just let me see what does it response. So basically, I'm expecting a YAML definition now, which can be used at GitHub actions and try to release your code through the GitHub actions. Okay, and let's see how does it actually responds. Okay, so basically I have walked you through the through the through the AWS. Now let's see, let's see how we can do the same thing for Azure as well. Okay, so this is the advantage I see of this is the advantage that I see of the chat gpt, that can easify your life. Okay, basically, again, I'm just giving a caution. Okay, so basically, you cannot assume that the freshers, okay, who does not has any hands-on experience on the coding, who does not has hands-on experience on the infrastructure as a code, if you let him to if you think that he can do now everything with using chat gpt, then you should be wrong. That's what I can predict it directly. Yeah, basically, it needs an experience, even though you are being served with a ready made, but still, experience also matters here. It definitely not, definitely not bringing the experience values down. Okay, it actually continues, and it should be continuing in the future as well. Okay, I believe that nobody can nobody can take out the value of experience, basically. Yeah. All right, so I'm just so this is how, you see, this is cool how it is. It has actually given us a YAML file. So basically, list s3 bucket is the name it has given, and it has said that it will run on the hosted agent, that is the Ubuntu one, right? And then it is telling, it is also checking out your code and setting the Python. Yeah, and then it is also installing the boto 3 module, and then you are running a piece of code. Okay, this is exactly like how quickly. Okay, so earlier, to write this one, maybe we used to go roam here and there, and try to use it. Basically, but the layman, if you tell a layman that he can do it, no, he cannot do it, because it just giving you a piece of code that again you need to stitch together, and you need to change these informations here and there. You can only do this changes here and there if you have an experience, if you know how does this GitHub action works. Okay, that still continues. Okay, it is not replacing. All right, now let's go for the Azure side, and then that marks the wrapping of our solutions. Okay, so we checked for the for AWS. Now we'll take you to the to the Azure side. Okay, so for example, say Python code to list Azure storage accounts, for example, say. Yeah. So what I'm doing is, I'm just I want to list all the storage account present in my Azure account. Okay, so I want to do that with using Python. Yeah, so how do I do it? So this is the this is the piece of question that I'm asking to ChatGPT. It will give me the piece of code, and then I need to customize it. I need to make it parameterized, which is sitting which is fitting my enterprise need. Okay, so basically I just copy this code. This looks to be very similar. Yeah, so it is look to be very similar to the AWS as well, but the piece the way of we consume the Python module or Python SDK in Azure is different, right? So here, it is asking that could not be resolved because it is not there. But if you see here, so it is actually making the connection string, then it is actually calling the it is actually from the connection string, right? It's actually creating a blob service a client, and then it is listing the all the accounts. Okay, so basically, this piece of code, you see, this is clear to me because I'm an experienced Python developer. It's clear to me, right? It is easifying my life, right? So that is what I see an advantage of the Chat GPT for cloud developers. Okay, and if I go to the the infrastructure as a code side for Azure, let's say, and I will ask a question like a Terraform code to create S3 bucket, right, with virtual network endpoints. Okay, so if I say virtual network endpoints, so virtual network endpoints is very deep concept. Let me see if it can answer this difficult questions. Okay, so Terraform code to create S3 bucket to a virtual. This is actually with virtual network endpoint. Maybe it will understand and it give us the questions correctly. Give the answers to the questions correctly. It should be with the endpoints. Yeah. So currently it is trying to answer the questions. That is, it's actually we are actually doing. So I'm just actually interacting with the Chat GPT and getting the answers. Okay, so basically this is what I'm doing now. All right. Okay, so this could be the last the scenario of my video. Right, so this is how actually the Chat GPT is going to help us. The way of using the internet going to be changed. That is what my prediction is. Maybe it could be, or it may not be the right. Okay, but this is what my experiment, this is what my analysis tells. Okay, so basically, this is how you see it is indeed it has identified. Okay, even though I have typed the questions the wrong way, it has identified. It has identified that you can use Terraform to create a S3 bucket and virtual network endpoint to allow the resource to your to your VPC. I think this is where it is mixing. Okay, so basically, if I what did I try S3 bucket? Okay, all right. So I have asked for S3 bucket because I was supposed to ask the question for so yes, indeed, this is a good question. Okay, so I have asked this question with respect to the AWS context. Now let's ask the same questions. Basically in AWS context, creating the endpoints is very easy. But if you come for the Azure context, the creating the service endpoint is bit difficult. Okay, so let's see how does it create. So okay, Terraform code to create a storage account bucket. Okay, storage storage account with VPC virtual network endpoint. Okay, storage account. Okay, storage account with so basically now we have asked a questions on Terraform to create a S3 bucket with endpoints. Okay, basically it has created. Okay, this is how we actually create a resource with the with the VPC endpoints in AWS. Now I'm just creating the same thing. Okay, I'm just doing the same thing in Azure terminology, that is storage account with virtual network endpoints. Let's see how does it respond. Okay, so that marks the completion of my demo, right? All right, so while it is responding or while it is answering to my questions, a kind request, please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot. I do also provide a freelancing service. Please do see my channel's description where you can find a email address to contact me if you need any kind of freelancing help with regards to these solutions. That is especially cloud solutions, okay, including Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud as well. And so here it goes, right? So basically, it has given us the answers. One is, you are creating the storage account. So if I can replace it here, I'll just clean it off. Right, I'll just shift it here, and we see, yeah, it is throwing the error, but it's better to read it here. Okay, so I'm just going to shift bit here. So basically, this is how you can move code, but you can still read the answers here. Okay, so you can use the Terraform to create a storage account and a virtual network endpoint that allows the resource in your Azure network to access the storage account. Okay, to do this one, you will need to Azure account and virtual network peering. Right, resource virtual network peering resources is an example how to create a storage account and VNet peering. Okay, this is what the accurate answers it gives. Yeah, so basically, it creating a storage account. You see, and then it also creating a virtual network peering. Okay, so basically it's I think it's partially right answers, but to create an endpoint, you might need to do another configurations as well. So this is the piece of this is a good example piece of a piece of question that I asked to ChatGPT, that it is not giving the answer properly. Okay, indeed we need to do a peering, and it fulfills the one scenario, but it is not fulfilling the other scenarios as well. Okay, that's where it actually it actually not completely replacing us for sure. It's there is no I mean, if I can retail that word, it's actually never, it's not going to replace nobody. Basically I consider it as an helping hand which actually speeds up your work. Okay, right. All right, so with that note, I have successfully shown you the things to needs to be shown in this video. Finally, a kind request, please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot. So with that note, thank you, thanks a lot, and see you in the next video.